You're listening to the Teach Better Talk podcast featuring expert educators eager to share progressive tactics to reach more students. Teach Better Talk is created by teachers and fueled by passion. Let's get started.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 213 of Teach Better Talk. My name is Ray Hewart, and as always, I am with my bright pink sparkly friend, Jeff Gargis. How are you, Jeff?
Bright pink sparkly?
Well, yeah, because the guest that we had on for our podcast is like really just bright colors. She just glows, I feel like. Every time I think of her or see her Instagram, she's sharing out like bright colors and love and fun and happiness. And so even though I know we just finished that podcast episode recording, I feel like it's still in the air. And so it was perfect for intro.
And typically, whatever dress she's rocking, her mug matches. I
know.
Which is like the coolest thing. She's amazing. She's awesome.
Anyway, so I felt like that was what I could share because there was really no way to describe you. So describing Carly was way easier.
It's definitely the better way to go. We'll start doing it that way. Yeah.
Good idea.
From now on, when you introduce me, you'll describe me in a way you wish you would describe the guest.
There we go. That could be the thing.
It'd be good for me because it's going to make me feel a whole lot better than I normally do. So
exactly.
That could actually be kind of fun.
All right. Well, that will start in the next episode. For right now, though, I know we were going to highlight a few different things. We were kind of brainstorming what to do. Jeff, I really would love to give a shout out to the conference that actually just brought us in. We had a lot of speakers, network speakers there. Would you mind kind of sharing that amazing conference that we were part of? And kind of, I'm going to do the whole hey, you have 60 seconds to say all the things, but I'm going to instead give you the time limit of 15 seconds and see if you can fit it in. Yeah. Ready, set, go!
I'm assuming you're talking about the virtual conference in August, the Clark Innovation Conference, yes?
Yeah, it was so fun. They literally brought in the Teach Better marching band. I'm just saying.
It was like the Teach Better marching band. It was like that was a really fun one. So it was the Clark County Innovation Conference. I'm sure I'm not saying the title right. I apologize to Pat and all the folks there. But Clark County Public Schools down in Virginia, awesome group. And we've been working with them over the summer to figure it out. It was supposed to be in person, then it changed. It went back and forth a bunch. We ended up doing a virtual. So yeah, some cool shout outs because we had a whole crew there. So Kevin Butler, the amazing Kevin Butler, actually keynoted the event, which was awesome. Hans and Jen Apple did an awesome session together, which is always just a dynamic duo session. Joshua Stamper did a session as well. Dennis Sharon actually did two different sessions. They got super pumped up about the fact that Dennis is a math guy. I'm telling you, because he's awesome. The conference they do is it's typically sort of focused on a lot of tech. So the math group was like, heck yeah, bring them in. So that was cool. And then you and Chad both also did sessions as well. So we had a whole crew there. It was really, really cool. Got ridiculously great feedback, but it was so much fun to work with them and to get to...
But it was I was going to say it was a great way to utilize our speakers network. Yes, they essentially came and said, hey, we have a bunch of slots to fill. Who, is a good fit for these topics. Yep. And it was let's take a look at the book of Teach Better Speakers Network peeps.
Yeah, that's essentially what, Pat from Clark County, he came and he said, hey, I'm looking at the Speakers Network, and that's exactly what he said. He's like, you got a bunch who fits here, who can bring these types of topics. And so that's really a lot of fun. So the Speakers Network is such a cool, extension of the family for us because there's so many awesome names over there that we can connect with and pull into to do events like this, special trainings, all kinds of stuff like that. So if you're listening, you're not connected to all of our speakers there, you need to go to teachbetter.com/speakers network and just connect with all those educators. They're awesome. They're always willing to connect, always willing to do things, to connect and collaborate, and they're just a lot of fun to follow and stuff too. So that was a good one. So shout out to all of our speakers on our speaker network, but also to Clark County Public Schools for an awesome event. That was a lot of fun. So speaking of sparkly pink, is that what it was? Did you say sparkly pink?
It was bright pink, sparkly, wasn't it?
I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. Carly Spina, which I still can't believe it took so long to get her on. We talked about that at the beginning about why Ray thinks it took so long. I don't know.
I'm sorry. You mean why Ray knows it took so long?
That's fine. I'm gonna let them listen to that nonsense. But so much fun having Carly on. We've been connected with Carly for a long time. We got to hang out with her just before COVID took over the world. But Carly is, 15 plus years of experience in multilingual education. She's done, she's been an EL teacher, a third grade bilingual classroom teacher, and she's a district-wide EL bilingual dual language instructional coach. So she services 8 schools with 60 different languages across 800 kids. And that is just incredible, like how they do and what they do. And the passion that Carly serves with is just, in my opinion, unmatched. It's incredible when she gets around that. And that's one of the things I love about her is no matter what the conversation is, she brings that lens and is always thinking of those 60 different languages, those 800 kids, those kids and adults that she works with and that she leads. So she's just the last episode was this way too, but she was just a lot of fun too. She's just always a good time. So Ray, anything to add other than sparkly pink or whatever the heck you said?
Oh, Carly is a rock star, and not only I hope you guys enjoy this, I hope you connect with her. She has a lot of stuff coming that she couldn't necessarily spill all the beans on in this podcast episode. She'll definitely be one that will kind of continue to stay up to date on all the amazing things and try and feature her so you guys stay up to date as well. So in the meantime, while all the secrets are still in there, make sure you go follow her so you can continue to learn from amazing Carly.
And with that, let's get episode 213 with Carly Spina.
All right, we'll be right back with that episode, but I do want to make sure that you know that you should be listening to all the podcasts, a part of the Teach Better Podcast Network. Yes, Teach Better Talk is a fun one, and we really appreciate that you have subscribed and hopefully rated and reviewed this podcast, but we also have other podcasts that we have the opportunity to highlight over in our podcast network. Head over to teachbetter.com/podcast to see the full list.
All right, we're here and we are chatting with Carly Spina. And Carly, I'm torn because I'm both super, super excited that you are on. And I'm also really, really confused how it took 213 episodes to get you on our podcast for some weird reason. I don't know for sure.
It makes no sense.
I'm inclined to blame Chad. I'm just,
he's right here.
Throwing it out there. That I'm pretty sure it's Chad's fault. And we're going to leave it at that.
I want to be very clear with our listeners. This is Jeff's fault. This is not anyone else. Do not fault.
All right, now wait a minute. Now, everyone who was listening thought I was going to say that it was Ray's fault, and I didn't. I didn't throw you under a bus. I threw Chad under the bus. That should have earned me, points.
What? Points for what? Like Hewitt points? Like the points that don't matter and mean everything?
Yeah, Hewitt points. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to earn.
No Hewitt points for you. It's your fault. I know Carly Spina's great. She's featured in the Teachers Deserve It book. She's done so many amazing things. You just wouldn't let her on the podcast. I've been fighting with you. Let her on.
So let's just clarify. So since you knew how awesome she was and you really wanted her on the podcast, and I said no, and I'm so mean I couldn't have her on it, that means that I have all the power and you don't, is what you're saying, right?
Oh,
you don't get to have it both ways, Ray.
Carly, how are you? How's your day going?
It's better now. I love hanging out with you guys.
It's really fun to chat with you on the podcast. I know we haven't even started. Sorry, listeners, we're doing all the shenanigans, but last time we were together, the three of us, we actually have physically been together. We were at a restaurant together. Wasn't that the last time we were together?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, was that February?
It was January or February. It was pre-shutdown and life was good.
It's just fun to be able to hang out with somebody on the podcast that we've also hung out with numerous times in person all together, which is kind of cool,
Yeah.
So fun.
Good time.
Yeah, it always is. Well, anyway, for our listeners, I want you guys to all get to know Carly as well, because I know how great she is, and Jeff's a mean old meanie pants. So for everyone here, Carly, would you mind kind of answering that age-old question of kind of sharing what you do in education?
Yes. So I have 15 years of experience serving linguistically diverse students, families, and programs. I was an EL or English learner teacher for 5 years, and then I taught third grade in a transitional bilingual program for 6 years, English and Spanish. And then now I'm starting my 4th year as a district EL bilingual dual language instructional coach. And so that's what I'm doing right now. I serve 8 schools. We have over 60 languages in my school district and over 800 active current English learners. And I do all this work in the Chicago suburbs, and I love it.
That is, 8 schools, 60 languages across the... Could you list the languages if we had you list them all?
Oh my goodness. That would be like a really good game show.
That's like that game from the episode of Friends where you try to list all the states, and it's almost impossible. You always forget at least 1 or 2. That's crazy though. That just shows you how diverse the schools can be, right?
Yes,
that's 60 different languages across 800 students. That's just, it's crazy. And the fact that you are helping do that, you and your team, that's amazing. So, really excited to dive into this question with you because we've been connected for a while. I've known you for a little while. I love you to death. And we all do want to teach better team. So I'm really excited to kind of dive in and learn more about your story and sort of the struggles and challenges you've overcome. So can you share a story with us about a time you've had a failure in your life and how you had to overcome that, and then share with us what you take away from the experience of that?
Yes. So lots and lots of failing forward over the years. And one thing in particular I was really pushing for when I was an English learner teacher. So it was my first 5 years of teaching. And my administrators always said to me, "Oh, Carly, the students that you serve, they don't have families that are involved." And I pushed and I pushed and I pushed on that thinking. And I said, "No, my families are so involved. They're just not doing it the way that you do it." And so I really pushed to have okay, I really want to take this and I want to make a parent education program. And so we planned a whole big event, and I was swearing, everyone's going to come. This is going to be so great. I'm going to throw this in your face. And nobody came. We had maybe 5 families show up out of, 80 families that were invited. And my mistake was I wasn't truly connected to the families I was serving at the time. I was ready to fight for them, but I wasn't fighting with them. I wasn't joining them at the hip and moving forward with them. And so I got it wrong on so many accounts because I didn't know what time of day was best for them. I didn't know what night of the week was best for them. I had a family tell me 2 weeks later, they said, "Carly, we all have Catholicism classes at the church on Wednesday nights. You can't plan events if you want us to come on Wednesday nights." And so it totally was just one of those moments that are boom, wake up, girl, know your audience. You need to know those that you're serving. You really need to know their preferences, their wants, their desires. What do they want, instead of assigning, here's the night, here's what time we're starting, here's the topics we're going to discuss. And so it was a good aha moment for me. It was a nice awakening.
It really is. And so now let's flip that. Let's talk about a successful moment you've had. And this could be something big or something small, but tell us what happened. Why was it a success for you? And then what did you take away from that?
One thing that I was really excited about, I serve a lot of different adults in our school system. So I support our EL and bilingual and dual language teachers, but I also support every teacher. I feel like I'm everybody's teammate, which is really cool, but it's also kind of overwhelming. And so I've always kind of just struggled with how do I connect? How do I create or co-create meaningful experiences for educators to really connect with all of our linguistically diverse students, even if our teachers are monolingual. Sometimes, teachers will say like, oh, I can't do this because I don't have an EL certification, or, oh, I can't do this because I'm not bilingual. Like, everybody can connect. Everybody uses language to teach. So everybody's a language teacher. So one thing that I wanted to try with the district last year was this idea of a Love Our Languages campaign. So we set up like a little template, and everybody got it, and everybody was invited to participate with their classrooms across the district. So everything from our early childhood program all the way up to our big 8th graders sat down with their teachers and had conversations about like what languages were present in the room. So kids were able to say like, oh, I speak English when I'm at school all day, but I go to Hebrew school on the weekends, or I go to Greek school on the weekends. Or my parents speak English, but my grandparents speak Tagalog, and that's the language I use with them. And when I go to the supermarket, this is the language that I speak. And it has led to so many great conversations with teachers about, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that family has an additional language. Like, what a wonderful asset that I didn't even realize. And so many beautiful things came of that. All of the teachers who participated, and I would say like 75% did, had like posters outside of their hallway or like outside their classroom door. So if you were to walk the hallways, you could see signs that said like, in this class, we speak 17 languages. In this class, we speak 11 languages. And all of those signs were up for like a parent night. It was like an open house type of thing. And parents were walking by like, oh my gosh, somebody in here speaks Lithuanian. Did I ever tell you that your grandfather speaks Lithuanian? So just provided an opportunity for so many great conversations about language.
Oh my gosh, I love that story. Carly, it's so funny because, first of all, that story was such a huge success, but then such an easy opportunity for us right now to like take that and tweak it for our own classroom, our own team, our own school building. It's such a wonderful opportunity right now as we're learning virtually to connect with students, and what a great question to be asking to learn about them, even in a remote setting. I just think that's so awesome. But also selfishly, you teach where I grew up. And so I'm always excited to learn, kind of like live vicariously through you, of what it's like to be an educator in the area that I was a student. It's just so cool. All your stories, I feel like I'm just hanging on to like the last words you're saying. It's so fun. So when it comes to education, I can only imagine that you have 1,000 things that excite you, because Carly, you've just been so passionate about like helping educators and doing so many great things for students. But if you had to pinpoint one thing that's really getting you excited about education right now and all that you're doing, what would that one piece be?
Well, I think right now it's so easy for us, and I am like totally feeling this right now. It's so easy for us to feel just constantly overwhelmed and just like doggy paddling through each day. But like anytime you kind of stop and think about it, there are so many crazy silver linings that have kind of come up out of this. Like, we are now learning with our families. It's not happening in isolation anymore. And so we're able to connect with families in ways that we never have before. I know one thing like I'm super excited about is having parent office hours in addition to student office hours. So parents can come in and like just kind of hang virtually and connect with each other. And we didn't have that opportunity. Like, we didn't do that weekly prior to the pandemic, but we're doing it now. And so I think it has allowed us to it has given us permission to step outside the box and step outside the norm and really connect. Like, I can see their face, I can hear their voice, and we can have fun. We can have good conversations about how to help their kids. We can vent about parenting through a pandemic. But it's been really interesting and amazing to serve in this type of way. And one story that I think always like hits me really hard is in the spring, we had one family who you could hear their fire alarm kind of chirping, like when the battery goes low. And the teacher kept hearing it for a few days, like during the Zoom meetings. And so the teacher finally asked, "Hey, is that coming from your house?" And they said, "Yeah, we don't have a chance to buy batteries." And so 2 days later, we were able to connect with the fire department, and they came on by to their house and fixed them up. And it was a nice community building opportunity. And again, we would not have had that moment where, a cool firefighter comes by and gives them stickers and fixes their detector for them. It was really sweet.
Oh, it's so sweet. What a great story and example of some of the positives that are coming from some of the challenges that we're going through right now, right? That silver lining. I love all that stuff. Carly, you're full of advice. If you had to give one piece of advice, and I know picking one is the hardest thing, but one piece of advice, Carly, that you want every new teacher, every veteran teacher, every educator to know, what would be your piece of advice?
I would say that your experiences and your opinions matter. You have intuition, you have professional judgment, and while you can go and continue learning constantly and always seek feedback and always get different perspectives, you have to rely on your guts too. Don't forget to trust yourself. Don't forget to lean into yourself. You've got fresh energy, you've got fresh ideas, and that is needed. Regardless of how many years of teaching experience you have, we all have something to contribute to the profession, to the kids that we serve, to the team that we support.
That is powerful, powerful advice, that you have something to bring. You've got opinion, you've got ideas. I love that you said you got energy, and that's all needed right now. That's awesome advice there. All right, Carly, let's have a little bit of fun with these next 6. We're going to do the next 6 questions. Your goal is to answer each one in 15 seconds or less. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, what is one EdTech tool you cannot live without?
Language codes in Google Sheets.
All right, I got to stop you. Explain those to me.
Okay. So there is a way for you to program or code in each cell. You can have a word automatically translate across a row. So you can have 15 languages translating one English word, and then boom, you've got an instant dictionary.
Wow. Nice. That's awesome. Give us a book you're reading right now.
I just got it. It just came in the mail. Thrive Through the 5 by Jill Siler.
Who do we need to follow on Twitter or Instagram today?
3 Twitter folks that I cannot recommend enough. Carol Salva, Valentina Gonzalez, and Dr. José Medina. He will keep you laughing forever.
Give us a good YouTube channel or website for educators.
Darina Sackman has a YouTube channel that she leads called Believe Cafe, and she walks through transformational emotional intelligence exercises. It's amazing.
Give us a daily, weekly, or monthly routine every teacher should get into.
Designate a stop time for work and stick to it. So it's 5 o'clock or maybe it's 7 o'clock, and then say, okay, that's enough for the day.
And what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Lanes are for cars, not change agents. Don't be afraid to go there and to push back and to raise the question or ask the question or say the statement. Don't be afraid.
Lanes are for cars, not change agents. I like that.
There are a lot of people that need to hear that. I get asked all the time, I don't know, I want to do more in education, but I don't know, how. And people, put themselves in these, lanes, these boxes, go out, go do great things. Oh, I love that. That's so powerful.
Thank you.
Carly, obviously you knew you were going to get the Teach Better Talk trophy, so that's kind of an easy one there. But more importantly, I want to make sure that our listeners can stay connected to you, the work you're doing, just everything that you continue to push out. I know you've been speaking at conferences, which right now, I know it feels a little bit different, but you spoke at Teach Better conference, and I really would love for everybody to take time to connect with the work you're doing. So would you mind sharing your Twitter, your Instagram, kind of everything in between?
Sure. So my Twitter, everyone can follow me at Mrs. Spina's Class. My Instagram is a little bit funny. I post a lot of puppies and like bright colors, but it's my last name with tons and tons of E's. So it's Spina. Dave Schmitto loves to give me some giggles about it, but Spina. So it's SP with 5 E's and then NA. And then I have a blog that I update occasionally, Innovative EL. You guys can find me on Facebook at Carly Spina, and I have a book coming out in 2021. So more on that.
Super exciting. You can find all the links and resources and everything we talked about in this episode over at teachbetter.com, as well as those really important links for connecting with Carly and keeping the conversation going. So head over to teachbetter.com for the show notes and all of that. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. And if you can give us a rating and a review, we'd really appreciate that as well. And let's keep taking this just one step further. Think of just 3 of your colleagues who need to hear these amazing stories and connect with these amazing educators and share this podcast with them. Carly, you're a Teach Better team favorite. We all love you. So excited to have you on the podcast. Excited for people to learn and maybe folks out there that aren't already connected with you to get connected with you and bring your awesomeness into their life. Really, really appreciate you hanging out with us. Thank you.
Thank you both so much. You guys are such a joy.
So fun.
And until next time, let's get out there and let's teach better.